Dog.
Ranchers this grilling season by going, okay, biggest story in the right-wing political world today. Thomas Massey goes down in Kentucky. This was a pretty big one. And I thought he was going to lose. I thought he was going to lose for a few reasons that we'll get into momentarily.
17,000 views
I thought he was going
on
to
that
lose
video.
yesterday morning. A friend of mine here at the Daily Wire came into my office, said, Michael, do you think Massey's going to lose? You know, I'm one of the more electoral politics interested people around these parts. Worked on some campaigns. I like the horse race. I like the machinations of politics. So anyway, they were testing me out. They said,
fucking moron crashes, dude.
Yes. I said, why? I said, because he's acting like he's going to lose. His recent comments, his recent attitude toward the press, toward the GOP, toward the president. I thought, this is a guy who looks like he's setting up the next step.
Oh.
Whether that means he's going to run for president in 2028, whether that means that he is going to do what every single white man in America under the age of 75 does, which is start a podcast. He said, it looks to me like he is preparing to lose. And that is what happened. He went down. It was not particularly close. It was a 9-point swing. So he was right on the brink of a double-digit loss. And the moment that is going viral from Massey's concession is when he walks out and takes one last shot at the people he now views to be his chief political adversaries. I love this contrast. He comes out, he goes, hey, yeah, my opponent who won is a dirty, rotten sellout controlled by the dastardly Jews over in the Middle East. Well, listen, we want to keep it classy. we want to conduct ourselves with dignity here.
How did Vader
you know, look, in Massey's defense, a lot of pro-Israel donors did dump a lot of money into this race.
Vader pee dog. But dog, he has to fucking disassemble his suit to pee dog. How does he go to the bathroom? Nice. Nice. How was the shit in the bag, dog? Yeah, dog, was it humid in your shit den, dog? Did you read today, dog? Damn, dog. How does it feel to be an excess male? What? Yeah. You tell me. So, what do you mean legally bound? Just have a fucking stroke. Who says you're legally bound to be that dog? What law is telling you to be an excess male? Nice. Is this an island situation, dog? It's good to know that you have morally upstanding character, dog. Fucking incredible, dude. Nice. What do you think should happen to dudes like that? Dudes that act like how you do on an island with a woman that doesn't want you. Nice. Nice. There's a difference, though,
He has increasingly made
between how you
opposition
treat
to Israel and funding of Israel a big part of his campaign. Though the situation is complicated because one of Massey's big donors.
Why did you
is a
ask
big
if they're on the island?
pro-Israel billionaire Jeff Yass. So even that is a little bit strange. But obviously the way that Massey is viewing this is that he was taken out of the race by pro-Israel forces. Now, even there, you say, well, you know, is it okay for pro-Israel donors to dump a lot of money into a race? And I say, well,
so it's necessary.
big politics attracts big money. I mean, that's
You're stinging that.
facet of American politics. I think that, well, obviously Massey and a lot of his supporters are going to put all the blame here on the pro-Israel forces. And I don't think that quite explains it, especially within the context of the other
Is that what
races
you'd
that
say
and
to
within the
Megan
context
Fox
of the
after
race that happened
you
last
do what you do?
Saturday, and within
As
the
she's
context
laying
of
there,
the race in Indiana that occurred just a few weeks ago.
just completely
It
defeated.
seems to me that there were other forces at play. And here's my evidence of this. Had Massey opposed Israel, but voted on the crucial votes that
That's
Trump
good.
wanted him to vote
And if she still resists
even, I don't know, in the House Speaker
the next time you want to do that, you're gonna do it again, dog.
Had he done that, I think that Trump would have continued to back him. Because Massey comes from the libertarian wing of the party, but he had a lot of cred with conservatives, and Trump had previously
I'm
endorsed
sure you
him.
are, dude.
So it seems to me, this is the hypothetical you have to ask yourself. Had Massey voted for the Big Beautiful Bill, which is the signature piece of legislation that Trump wanted this year, had Massey not increasingly voted against the party, you know, his record on voting with the party 2 terms ago was 95%, then last term was 91%, this term it's been 77.7%, which is way below the median GOP congressman, who is still at 95%.
So what would the resource situation
And
have to be
still said,
like?
look, I don't want to support Israel, I don't want to fund Israel. There are plenty of GOP congressmen who voted against funding those for Israel. The question you have to ask yourself is, if that were all the case, but he were still anti-Israel, would Massey have a seat today? And I think the inescapable conclusion is yes, he would. Obviously, that was a factor in the race, but I think Trump would have still
Resources determine
because then you look at the
whether
other
or not
candidates who went
you'll
down, including last night with Brad Raffensperger.
do that again to an innocent young woman.
The 2020 election was the issue in that race, where Raffensperger became a darling of the left because he was positioning himself as the man upholding the Constitution against the predations of that awful, terrible autocrat.
Well, I'm just asking questions based on what you said, dog.
You look at Bill Cassidy. The issue in that race wasn't Israel. It wasn't even really the 2020 election. It was just
Why wouldn't it be applicable? You said it was because of resources,
you look
right?
at the Indiana state legislators who went down. Trump went after 5 of those state legislators. He took them all out. That issue was redistricting. That had nothing to do with foreign policy or the Big Beautiful Bill or the 2020 election.
But
So
you
the
you
only
fucking
common
raped
thread that you're looking at
Megan Fox.
is opposition to Trump, which is why this was my prediction yesterday, certainly, and the days
Nice.
before that. I
Nice.
said that the question that this election's going to
Oh.
answer, this election's going to be a referendum on whether or not Trump still has control
Nice.
of the GOP. So if Massey goes down, it's going to be evidence, chiefly,
Oh, fuck.
that Trump still has an ironclad grip on the GOP, which is pretty impressive. Look,
Where
Trump
does
took over the GOP
Megan
10 years ago.
Fox's
A little over 10
autonomy
years,
come
really
into all
almost
this?
2015. That was a hostile takeover of the GOP. The business class hated him. The policy wonk, bow tie, think tank class of the conservative movement hated him. The
And
conservative media hated
whether or
him.
not you're
Everybody hated him. He took over the party.
a rapist or not.
10 years later, now almost halfway through his second term, and he should be a lame duck, he is still flexing his muscles. So all of these candidates,
Nice, dude.
Massey, Cassidy, the state legislators, they're all going to blame some issue or other.
What if she had
In the context of all of them going down,
an
I don't see how
MG42
you can deny that the chief issue
and
here is
you were thinking about doing it? Would you risk it then?
some of them increasingly so. I mean, Massey, you can love Massey, you can say he had a great voting record, at least until relatively recently. You can say he had a great voting record even up through the present. But the thing you can't deny is they put themselves increasingly in the face of
Catches you and shoots you in one of your hands,
which means this
but
is
she lets you live.
and that's going to have massive consequences. So
Now you got
partisans,
one
the supporters,
one good
they're
hand
down
left
this now.
because
Massive
you couldn't
prominent among them, but all the others
you can
do.
control yourself.
What they are going to argue now is, okay,
What does that tell you?
the battle is going to lose the war. Because he took out all of our good candidates in the primaries, but now we're going to be in an even worse spot in the general election. And in some of these cases, I don't think that's true. I mean, I think in this district in Kentucky,
You're still gonna try to
how
to go after her after that?
Trump just made a fairly shocking endorsement. He endorsed the challenger, who has some PR problems, against the incumbent, John Cornyn. So all these guys...
Now, what kind of trap is this? What kind of trap is this? Is this one that's meant to keep her alive so you can fucking be depraved? No.
But that's going to be their way.
Yeah,
You
dude.
can say Trump, maybe he shrunk the political coalition. He's alienating the
Why,
libertarians.
of course
he's
not.
alienating the moderates. He's alienating this, that, and the other thing. They're all going to make those arguments. But what you can't say is that Trump isn't still the chief influence. And then the other consequence of this is going to have, not just...
What if it was clear that there was plenty of resources on the island?
That barring some global financial crisis, barring
That you both survive?
barring Trump's approval within the GOP just collapsing, which obviously it has not, the 2028 nominee is going to be picked by Donald Trump. That's it. That's how it's going to go. Barring some massive change, and 2 years, 2.5 years is a long time, barring some massive change, Trump is going to pick the nominee, which helps to explain another thing that we'll hopefully get to.
What if she was just a better survivor than you? You had trouble finding food or catching food, but she was like really good. She built herself like a nice little camp settlement, and you were basically exposed to the elements all the time.
It's about Trump. It's still about Trump. I remember
Well,
10 years ago, at the beginning of this whole
yeah, dude,
journey,
you wouldn't try to do anything?
people kept trying to make the argument. So it's really not about Trump. It's about this issue. It's about immigration. It's really not about Trump. It's
Would you
about
accept your fate
foreign policy.
and
It's
die?
really not about Trump. It's about this, that, or the other. And I think the inescapable
Never
conclusion
having
from the
done
standpoint
what you
of
wanted to do
just
to her?
nuts and bolts electoral politics is, no, it really is about Trump. It really is. It actually is about Trump. This guy is an American original, sui generis. He's the guy.
So it would take
Maybe
a
world
woman
historic
with an
figure, that remains to be seen in
MG42
the history books,
to stop you
but
from
he is the
fucking
guy.
doing what you were gonna do.
He won last night. You can be furious at that. You can think he made bad endorsements. You can pull your hair out or raise your garments. But he won. He got exactly what he wanted in every single one of these races.
Nice.
And the way he got it is that the voters gave him the Republican primary voters, the base of the party. So for the people who got these predictions wrong, forget about their design.
I think
People who got these predictions wrong,
God would feel about you doing that to Megan Fox on Island.
They're confusing the GOP for a social media platform. They're confusing the GOP for podcasts. They're confusing the GOP for cable news, for that matter. Those are different things. This is a reaffirmation.
And how would that be?
Amid a
What
time
would
of some
that be?
confusion, that there actually is a distinction between hardcore on-the-ground politics and the political media, and the podcasts, and social media, and the pundit class, and on and on.
So instead of trying to make her existence on the island better, you choose to be a nightmare to her. Nice. She's another human being. She's another human being that's in the same circumstance. You know, you're just trying to survive, but would be nice, dog. Call being a decent human being. Nice. Okay, and then just keep to yourself then. But you're telling me you wouldn't be able to resist a fucking raper, dude. I'm just trying to figure out what would happen if you two just kept to yourselves. In previous situations when I've asked this, and I've said she doesn't want anything to do with you, it sounds like you're like, you know what, then fuck it, I'm just gonna fucking take her by force. Oh, it's nature, it's not you anymore? Damn, bro. Nice. Nah.
Trump comes out, one of these very, very lengthy Truth Social posts, so I won't read the whole thing. It says, the highly respected Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, an America First patriot, and someone who's always been extremely loyal to me and our amazing
What if you do that,
represent a place I love, and I won
and then a
big
boat
3
comes
times
to
with
rescue
6.4
both of you?
million
What are you
votes
thinking in
2024.
your head?
Best voice in the history of the state by far. I'm the man, I'm the man. I know Ken well.
Yeah, after what you did to her.
He goes on about how great he is. Then he goes on.
So you don't think there's going to be any repercussions when she tells everyone? Nice.
For those who've not followed this race all that closely, this is
Oh, you don't know?
unbelievable political coup by Ken Paxton.
So when you get back to the mainland, and she's told everyone you've violently raped her
in my role here
on an
as a
island,
political analyst,
and she's just trying to survive and mind her own business,
even if I might have a preference for this candidate or that candidate,
you don't think anything of that. It's, you know, put out into the mainstream that you, Brock Bondi, raped celebrity Megan Fox. Helpless Megan Fox.
All of the scuttlebutt coming out of the White House.
I don't think I have it.
Cornyn is a little more moderate, a little more centrist, a little more diplomatic in his speech. And we used to vote with him because we just need that reliable incumbent vote in the Senate. Ken Paxton's got this
Why did she shoot your hand?
Scandals, and so, you know, that was too risky. Even if the base likes Paxton.
Whoa, why are you trying to fucking disarm her, dog?
Trump was going to play the safe bet.
No.
That was all the scuttlebutt coming out of the White House. And then Ken Paxton did something amazing. Paxton comes out and says, hey, I'm going to drop out of the Texas.
Holy fuck, dude.
I'll just drop out of the race.
Brock, man, when did you become so fucking evil?
And the Senate leadership abolish the filibuster to pass the Save America. The Save America Act, which requires vote writing to prove that you're actually a citizen of the Union. Very simple. He says, look,
when did you become so evil?
This is about the issue. This is about the people. This is about the sovereignty of our country. So I'll tell you what.
What? I can't call you evil after that shit you just said, dog.
And the Senate leadership filibuster to pass this bill.
Isn't that what evil is?
Huh? The vast majority of Americans across every demographic think we should have voter ID.
Oh, raping a helpless woman.
It's okay.
You know.
Now it's your turn. Where are you going to go?
No.
So beautiful.
Oh, what? She's not. Is she not innocent?
He says, hey, if you just support the president's agenda.
Okay, fine. You tell me. You tell me what it is then. If I got it wrong, tell me.
Such a risky move because Cornyn and the Senate leadership wouldn't do it. Because of that, all of a sudden,
Nice.
Trump
Life finds a way.
Hey, Trump.
Is that what you're gonna tell the press when they're fucking questioning you?
Do what needs to be done to pass one of the most basic aspects of one of the easiest political wins. Now, abolishing the
That's
filibuster
fucking wild, dude. Oh, fuck.
and what he was essentially saying to Trump is, hey, you're going to back this guy? This guy won't do the bare minimum to support your agenda. Why would you ever back him in the primary? And it worked. It was just even take out the substance of the Save America Act and take just the political machinations here were so brilliant. This was an regardless if you're like Cornyn, if you're like Paxton, Paxton and the conservative base, but regardless of what you think about them, this was an absolute political masterstroke.
If you die and you meet God and he's asking you why you fucking did that, why did you do that to that innocent soul?
Rips it right out of his hands. And it worked. Cornyn now, I was reeling from this. It's hard to see how he comes back from it.
He would say, you're in that situation to build a good moral character.
But after this record, Massey, Cassidy, the Raffensperger in Georgia, the 5 legislators in Indiana, it's hard to see how that actually happens. Especially because Trump's playing on all these different issues. It's not just one. It's not just the 2020 election, or Israel, or redistricting, or this,
fucking explain why you fucking raped
playing on all of them. He's winning on all
the innocent girl when you could have survived on that island. There was more than enough resources. And you didn't need to commit that sin or whatever. What would you say to him then?
He's got too much baggage, and now James Talarico, who we call the gay Pete Buttigieg, now he's going to win in Texas. I'm not convinced of that. They say this every year. They always say, oh, Beto O'Rourke, he's going to flip Texas purple, he's going to flip Texas blue. Who was the next one? It was that Colin Allred, the guy ran against Ted Cruz, the football player who wanted to put violence in pro sports. Allred's going to beat Cruz. Oh, this is it. This is the one. And it never really seems to happen. And so I think Paxton could win.
What if you die and you see the Prophet Muhammad and he's like, bro, why did you fucking do that to that woman?
He's getting the Buttigieg.
And he's there with his 9-year-old wife.
The political media are building him up to be something more than he is. They see the nuts and bolts on paper and they say, well, you know, we have this problem because our whole party is so...
What are you trying to say, dog? Chapter 4, verse 64. What are you talking about, dog?
Ostensibly straight. And here's the cherry on top. He says he's a Christian. That'll fool them. James Talarico, whose statements are much closer to what you'd expect from the Antichrist to who are Christ. Total subversion of Christian teaching.
Whoa!
When it comes to life, when it comes to gender, when it comes to marriage, so on and so forth. So I think...
But she's your captain, though. Is that what you're trying to tell me, bro?
Very, very gutsy move. Okay. Enough of the inside baseball. Let's get back to the libs. We'll get to that momentarily because one of the most disgusting statements I've ever heard from the left on the point of political violence.
What if she was stronger than you?
Most of the calls for political violence on the left. This one is just more evidence to add to the pile that the left, if they get back into power, will want to kill you. We'll get to that momentarily. First, I want to tell you about this. Go to hillsdale.edu/revolution. Folks, it took 36 years, but I'm finally in a movie in theaters with Tom Selleck. Pretty cool.
What if it was you and your dad with Megan Fox, and Megan Fox got with your dad?
This is the question.
She didn't want anything to do with you. What would you do then? Yeah. So then you'd just live there peacefully. You wouldn't fucking try to be a depraved animal. No, you're in the same vicinity of them as like always. You're always in their vicinity. Oh, but your dad still watches out for you. He helps you fish and hunt or whatever, but he's just like, Megan Fox, she's mine, right? So he fucking, and like every couple nights when you're going to bed, you hear them going at it.
Hillsdale.edu/revolution. Find a local theater. Buy tickets now for Revolutionary America. One more time, Hillsdale.edu/revolution. You remember Brian Thompson? He was that United Healthcare CEO who was murdered in cold blood by Luigi Mangione. And then a lot of the left rallied to Luigi's defense. Brian Thompson, not a politician, not passing policies. He was an executive at one of the health insurance companies. And he was murdered in cold blood. And a lot of the left came out and said he had it coming. Well, here are some Luigi stands. Here are some classic demo of the party. Millennial women, liberal women, describing how it was such a good thing that Thompson was murdered. So by the way, that first woman who's speaking, she has a press pass. So this is a journalist. This isn't just a random activist, though there's really no difference on the left anyway. She says, yeah, I said what I said. Yeah, I don't care about this guy. I don't care that he got murdered. And then that other woman, even worse. Can you imagine this? She said, yeah, his kids are better off without him. Maybe it's just because I have little kids now. And in politics, now all conservatives have a target on our backs, quite demonstrably. That is about the worst thing I've ever heard anybody say. That is about the most repulsive, vomit-inducing thing I have ever heard anybody say. This guy, this business executive, it's just like ordinary business executive, who's murdered in cold blood. He's got little kids who are with the knowledge that the father was taken from him, and with the knowledge that a lot of the mainstream left supported that or excused that or dismissed that. And these kids, when they're crying themselves to sleep every single night, these kids who are going to have massive trauma for the rest of their lives are told by relatively ordinary women, not just the fringe, that it's actually good that their dad was murdered. It's good. It's good for them. That's as horrible a thing as you can possibly imagine. And it's not abnormal. I guess the part that makes it even more horrible is it's not abnormal. I'm trying to think of the most charitable view I can take of these women. And the most charitable view I can possibly take is to blame it on the SSRIs. That's the most charitable view, because these women, just statistically, these women in particular are probably all on SSRIs, all on these psych drugs, because these liberal women are totally nuts. And the way that we deal with that now is not telling them no. It's not trying to help them. It's not trying to point them to things that will be helpful to them. It's just we drug them. And part of the SSRIs is that they blunt emotion and they basically turn liberal women into psychopaths. So much so that these women, one some activist chick, one a member of the press, what's the difference? Say, oh yeah, I'm really glad. It's kind of odd to have a non. Okay, now speaking of violence, horrific shooting at a mosque in St. Louis happened a couple days ago. Killed 3 people. A security guard was killed. Apparently, the security guard and a father of 8. This guy Amin Abdullah, father of 8. Imagine what a great country would be if everyone were having 8 kids. This guy, he, according to police, prevented more deaths, but he was killed. 8 kids going to grow up without a father. along with a grocery store owner and another guy. They were all killed. They were killed by 2 teenagers. The guys who killed them were teenagers, and they were apparently neo-Nazis. So what we know, details are still coming out. They were wearing swastikas and the Sonnenrad,
You
which
know
is another
those
neo-Nazi symbol.
flat escalators? It doesn't go up. It's just flat on the ground. It's kind of like just like a very long treadmill. Why don't they have those everywhere? Why can't we replace sidewalks with them? Why, dog? Knives. I think if you can fucking go to fucking Tim's in like 5 minutes, because those things are going, you know, however many miles per hour, and you're walking on them. Imagine riding your bike on them, dog. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It'll severely cut down on commuting time for people who walk. I think they'll be alright. There'll be handrails for the elderly. There'll be openings at certain points. We'll replace. Nah, it's a very smart AI powered thing. It'll adjust the speed of that one section when somebody's coming on it, and then it'll speed up that segment. Yeah. Because if the roads are gonna turn, how the fuck are we gonna make it so it bends, right? We're gonna have to make it so it's a whole series of them, each at a bit of an angle, so it eventually turns. The gaps will be so small, there's no way you'd be able to fall in between. What do you mean the other one? No, I think it'll be fine. It's an amazing idea. This can save lives. Think about it, man. For somebody who can't walk very far, I thought you'd be hailing this idea. You'll be hanging on to a fucking rail, so you won't fall. Why is it such a hard concept to understand? That just seems pretty straightforward to me. Whoa. Would you rather have what I just said or bike lanes? There you go, dog. Nice. The dog, they're just trying to be environmentally friendly, dog. They don't want to pollute. Whoa. Are you saying people on bikes who get hit are at fault? Whoa.
Welcome, day trippers and thrill seekers. I'm Mei Hasagawa, and I will be your guide on this very cool, very urban day trip. So, get ready for a guided tour of the sights and lights of Tokyo City. Have your cameras ready, and let's roll out.
Holy shit.
Stay together as much as possible.
It's over.
Tokyo City is a busy place with a lot of traffic. Other road users may not have the same driving skills as you. I like to put you in cars that turn heads. It doesn't always mean supercar. Sometimes it means, oh, I have not seen one of those in years. It's hard to imagine, but if you were here in 1971, it was a world without the Honda Civic. You would have had to wait a whole year. You would then have to wait until 1974 for Honda to produce its sportier model seen driving with us right now, the Honda Civic RS. Welcome to Shibuya Crossing. Outside of Horizon Festival times, this is one of the busiest pedestrian crossings in the world. With around 3,000 people crossing at peak hours, when the sign says you can go, you have to go. It's not nicknamed the Shibuya Scramble for nothing. To your right, that striking structure is, of course, Tokyo Tower, the second tallest man-made structure in Japan, originally purposed as a broadcast tower.
That ain't necessary, dog.
The tower gets a fresh coat of paint, taking a whole year to complete the job, using, get this, 28,000 liters of paint. I mentioned that you never have to go too far to see nature. Ejikugaya Ginko Avenue is one of my favorite examples. Great for car spotting, may I add? This urban area is lined with a corridor of trees, bringing year-round color to the city. And in autumn, it really is such a sight. I want to bring special attention to the day tripper in the Civic RS, one of my absolute best friends coming all the way from the UK with Jordan Chambers, who you'll meet soon. dream of joining the Horizon Festival together. So I want to shout out to great friends, good times, and fast cars. Okay, everyone. Up ahead, we need to come to a stop and park your cars in a designated area as we head into the next part of this day trip.
I love retro cars more than anyone I know, but you're about to take this Honda
What
Civic
gets
Type R for a spin.
especially weird here is,
More than a
I'm not going to
spin.
say their names, but
Hold
one
on
of
to
the
your hat,
neo-Nazis has a Hispanic
All right, well,
name.
Don't be too long.
Which, you know, I don't know. I don't think Hitler would have been all that welcoming of, you know, some like Quechua-speaking indigenous from Latin America. It's kind of odd to have a non-white neo-Nazi. And then the other kid, I think these guys were like 17 years old. One of them, I guess he was a white guy. There were some rumors going around that one of them is kind of trans, but I don't see a lot of support for that. He did have long hair, and the way that he did his hair, it kind of seemed like he wasn't even totally white. Maybe he is white. I don't know. Just like we were talking about in the races last night in the past couple of weeks, what is the unifying thing here?
Dog, did you know
What helps to explain what really
life
motivated?
as a
Well,
woman
the obvious symbols they're wearing are the
much
neo-Nazi
harder
symbols.
than life
These
as a
are
man?
these extremely radical right-wing Nazis. But according to their social media posts and diaries
They don't believe
or
me?
all of their writing, they really hated the Jews, but then they
Okay,
attacked a
troopers.
mosque.
I hope you
Well,
enjoyed
why
part
else would
one
they
of Tokyo
complain so
Strange,
much
that doesn't
about
make
it, dog?
total
It has
sense.
to be
They
There
true.
were neo-Nazis, one of them at least
Call you
wasn't
all when you're
white.
good to go.
They wanted to start a race war. I guess the guys killed themselves in the car. The parents of one of the shooters called in and said, "My kid is suicidal." So was it a suicide pact? What was it? The clearest thing that I can see
Okay, Brock,
is that these
what do you
guys
want to
spent
do
all
now?
of their lives online. We don't know very much about the Hispanic named killer, but one of the guys,
Okay, Brock, I have
I
sent
won't
your
say his
route
full
to the
name, but
nearest Horizon
his
showcase event.
first name is Kane. And this is kind of significant. We say nomen est omen, you know, the name of this guy who commits the primordial murder, Cain, who murders Abel. His name is Kane, and he apparently attended high school online. So some of the reporting was, he's just about to graduate high school. But he wasn't going to a high school. All these kind of shooter kids are usually loners and weirdos. But this guy wasn't even attending the high school. He was doing it online. And when you look at the real radical ideologies, the violent ideologies on the left and on the right, it seems to me the common thread is always that this grows up online. And
Chaser Zero in the flesh. Wow,
Oh
quite
shit.
impressive, isn't it?
Language updated. Chaser Zero engaging systems.
Yeah, that's the fucking mech, dude.
Actuators set. Flight systems online. Power level optimal. Chaser Zero. Initialization complete.
It's a fucking Gundam, dude. Nice, it's just gonna destroy everything.
Analyzing velocity. Victory forecast at 80%. Combining fuel sources.
Bad dog. You can't catch up to him.
Executing splashdown. Purging excess water from intake vents. Experimental power systems activated. Operating at 150%. Caution advised. protocol. Ascending.
That's pretty cool.
Kinetic traversal device deployed. Ready for expulsion.
I don't think I've seen one with wheels on their feet.
Power systems
That's pretty
operating
cool though.
at 200%. Extreme caution.
Nice, dude. You fucking ruined the moment. Fucking piece of shit, dude.
Overcharge. Off. Emergency shutdown on deck.
I don't believe many can say they beat Chaser Zero in a showdown across Tokyo City. Congratulations.
Blah blah blah.
And as a country increasingly lives in the virtual world, you're going to get a lot more disorder, a lot more dysfunction.
Here you go. One blue wristband.
Dangerous too. We were
Looks
talking,
good on
I think it
you.
was last week, about how
Now,
high
your
school
next
kids are drinking
wristband
less, and
waits
people are
behind this
celebrating that. But that's
Horizon
actually a
Rush
bad
event.
thing. You don't want the high school kids to be
called
drinking less, because this, what
Without
that
the
signifies
wristband,
is
you'll be
not that they're
driving faster,
less
Class A
prone to
cars.
vice. What that signifies is they're
Perfect for
socializing
new
less.
events.
In any case, very, very sad story. So obviously, we should pray for the people who died. We should, pray that there's not a rise in vigilante violence or the spread of radical ideologies. But I think the core of this is we need to pray that we stop being a virtual society. A virtual society in which we ignore
So you've explored the full map?
to our neighbors, but in which we begin to live in virtual reality, or is the contrary to reality. Chris Rufo wrote a good piece in City Journal, this was a couple months ago now, in which he pointed out that neo-Nazism, like Nazism as an ideology, is not a living ideology. It's dead. Nazism was destroyed in the 1940s. And so it's not that people can't call themselves Nazis. It's certainly not that people can't oppose others of being Nazis. They do that all the time. If you're slightly to the right of Zoran Mandani, you're called a Nazi these days. But it doesn't really mean what it would have meant in the 1940s. It's kind of a hyper-real ideology. There's a lot of incoherence between what these teen shooters were writing and what they were actually committing, what they seemed to have accomplished, what they were getting at. Was it homicidal? Was it suicidal? Was it anti-Jewish? Was it anti-Muslim? Were they Nazis or were they non-white? Or they what? Well, just to bring it full circle, how do you have a non-white?
What'd you do today, dog? Besides your
in a
exercises?
world in which the body no longer really matters to identity? A theme that we've talked about through the rise of the transgender ideology, a theme that we've talked about through the rise of looks-maxing, a theme that we've talked about through the decline of socializing among teens and 20-somethings. You can only have a non-white neo-Nazi in a world in which the body
Got some more monster, dog.
totally divorced from the physical reality, which will always lead to disorder and ultimately to a kind of suicide, which is literally what you get at the San Diego shooting. Okay. Speaking of trends among the various generations, really disturbing viral video that people think is cute. A viral trend of millennials who don't have kids bragging about all of their fancy travel. There's a lot more to say. First, though, go to catholicvote.org/America250.
pathetic. Like, oh, I'm so concerned with it. We're like, yeah. What about the space lasers? Those sound cool.
This information. And then on election night itself, Elon, left Mar-a-Lago early. I was at Mar-a-Lago, and he told me over text. He's like, yeah, I knew hours ago that Trump won. My team has the best real-time data anywhere. First of all, how the fuck do you have real-time data on elections? How do you have real-time data?
Because he's Elon Musk, bitch.
I do not understand that. I don't know that I ever will. I saw some shit, guys. Like, I saw some shit, and I'm fighting really hard to keep my voice because I saw shit that impacts everyone. And if I was self-interested, I did prefer to be self-interested.
So there you have it. Elon's baby mama. Yeah, I mean, I want to know about the space lasers. That's really all I care about. So Ash, tell us more about these awesome space lasers that Elon has. Those sound cool. And that's about the only interesting thing you had to say. Everything else we don't care. None of it matters. You're a loser. And we just want to know more about that. But if you're just tuning in, hello everyone. Welcome to Cobra Cats 199. I'm your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. And Thomas Massey has lost because President Trump is king. He's the MAGA king.